how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome to another 2025 movie review. I know it's been a while since I've done a movie review for this year. The last one I believe I did was for The Bad Guys 2, but this time it is obviously for a movie that I never saw the first two in theaters, but I did watch them before I went to see this movie, and of course, that is Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Yep, that's right. Otherwise known as Now You See Me 3. So this is sort of a magician type of movie where these four magicians who are known as the Horsemen, not the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, obviously, not the four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but you know what I mean. They're called the Horsemen basically, and in the first movie they basically get rounded up by slight spoilers for the first two movies, just so you know what actually went down. So the first movie, they were rounded up by a character that was played by Mark Ruffalo, known as Dylan. I forgot his last name, but I know his confirmed last name was Strike. Again, but he goes under an alias for his last name in the first movie until he's exposed in the second movie. But basically, he rounds up these four different magicians who do these crazy moves, and basically he tries to help them. He makes them try to expose these corporate people that are just like really greedy, and they expose them through magic in a way, and that's sort of how the first movie went down. The second movie was not as good in my mind, because we had, even though it had one of my favorite all time um, child stars in Daniel Radcliffe in the movie, who, if you don't know who that is, he's the guy who played Harry Potter in the Harry Potter films, and that's who I grew up on, really. But I still thought the second movie wasn't as good. But with this movie, this one did actually seem like it was better than both the second and maybe even the first one, in my mind. It was sort of like the passing of the torch, sort of, to a new generation. And it even hints, again, without spoiling anything, it does sort of, I will say it does hint at a fourth installment to the franchise. I'm curious how long it's going to take before they do a fourth movie, because it took them 9 years just to release this movie. But with Now You See Me 3, Jesse Eisenberg, great actor as he is, Woody Harrelson is in here. I think him and Jesse Eisenberg are the only two of the four Horsemen who I know they're actors from a lot of stuff. But and also Mark Ruffalo, obviously. You also had Morgan Freeman in there in the movie, in all three movies. And I gotta say, this movie was, again, the magic tricks in all three movies I thought were pretty great, but this movie definitely, I think, took the cake when it came to the magic tricks and stuff. And I really feel like if there is going to be a fourth installment, number one, I hope they don't take too long with releasing it like they did with the third film, because the second movie only took 3 years to release after the first movie did. So if they do the same thing with this movie, where they do at least wait 3 years, we may see another movie in 2028. That's just my lucky guess, but let's hope that's the case. But when it comes, again, great. I still think this movie. I think this movie was better than the first two, but I will say I really hope that things get fully answered, because there's one organization that sort of rounds up the magicians, I forgot to mention, called the Eye, but we never fully get who is part of the Eye and everything, and there's a lot of things that have happened in the universe that have been unanswered in a way. So I'm curious to see just how they're gonna do with the fourth movie. But when it comes to this movie, I will say this is definitely a much better experience than the first two, and that's all I can really say without giving away too many things. So for now, let me give you my rating of the film. So for my rating of Now You See Me 3, is what I'm basically calling it, I will say, again, definitely a much better movie than the last two. The second movie, I think I gave the lowest rating to, which was a 3.5 out of 5. This one, the first movie, I gave a 4 out of 5. And with this movie, I will still give it, once again, a 4 out of 5. However, I do still think this one's better than the first movie, in my mind. That's really all I can say without spoiling anything. So anyways, that's all for now in this movie review, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.